Okay. Martina, let me know when to kick things off.
I suggest to wait it just a couple of minutes more if it's not a big deal. So
Okay. Yeah, well, I see the number of participants going up, so we'll give these people a little more time to connect.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, we'll give everybody 1 more minute, and then we'll jump right into it. I'm looking to my left over here because I see the number of attendees still joining, and it's impressive. It looks just like my electric meter, just going up and up. Okay. All right. So let's kick things off. Hi, everybody, and thank you very much for joining us today. As I was saying, we have a great turnout. I'll look one more time. Keep going. Yeah. We have a great turnout, and there's a lot of familiar names and a lot of new names as well. So that's very exciting. And won't call anyone out, but hello. I see a lot of people here who I've had some quite a bit of interaction with over time. So so to jump right into it, and for the sake of those of you that aren't familiar with Optitex, I'll give a few sentences about that, what we do. We provide digital product development and design transformation tools, and more importantly, the methodologies that fashion and apparel companies need in order to transform their business from the analog physical world into that of the digital age, the work from home, the collaborate online generation. We work with some of the largest retailers, brands, and manufacturers around the world. We help them go faster, reduce waste, and ultimately increase everybody's margins. But we're not going to talk about that today. Today, we're going to talk about, Martina, you could jump over to the next slide. Today, we're going to talk about what else goes on in 3D, right? And what else can be done with the 3D world. And oh, I'm having a bit of a technical issue here. And there we go. Today, specifically, we're going to talk about avatars. And the webinar, or this webinar, is part of a series that is aiming to educate the community about the tools and services that are available today, and more importantly, how these tools will help you build your the blocks, right, that will create your digital infrastructure. So we invite you to register for the rest. Oh, I'm on the wrong slide over here, but okay. But we're going to invite you to register for the rest of these seminars. And oh, there you go. Thank you. The rest of these seminars. This is live, folks. Live TV. Yeah. So we have these other seminars coming up online as well, and we invite you to register for them. Be on the lookout for some links coming in through your email so that you can join. Okay, so now, Martina, if you could go back to that other slide. We're going to, today, we are joined by Dror Revach, who is our 3D, I just call him our 3D guru here in the office. And he has loads of experience in this subject matter of avatars. And also Johnny Sides, who is the co-founder of a great company called The Bureau, and he's going to share with us information about his expertise, knowledge, and experience in the market. So we can move forward, Martina? Yeah, so now just a little bit of housekeeping and how this this application GoToWebinar works in the background. Everybody is muted, so feel free to make as much noise as you like. But if you have any questions, we're going to do our best to answer them at the end of the presentations. But if something comes to mind, please shoot it through as a chat message, and we'll be able to respond to them at the end. And of course, we are recording this, so you'll be able to come back and review it, particular parts of interest later on, share it with your friends, family, and children, if you like to do that as well. So, Martina, should we move forward? Yeah, so without any further ado, I hand over the microphone to Dror and let him start to walk you through.
Can you hear me?
We hear you.
Yes, perfect.
Okay, great, thank you. So hi everyone, and welcome to the first seminar of many. My name is Dror Revach. I'm a 3D technical
Can you hear me? Dror, we cannot hear you. You are on mute.
Yeah, I hear you, Martina, but I cannot hear Dror.
Yeah.
Suddenly switched off.
Okay.
Okay, it was automated, automatically muting me. Okay, so I'll repeat again. My name is Dror Revach. I'm a 3D technical artist here at Optitex. I have over 20 years of experience in the 3D industry in Israel, working in film, TV, commercials, gaming, and for the last 6 years or so, I'm working at Optitex as a 3D CAD expertise. What we're going to talk today is about how we, Optitex, can help you, the customers, to achieve your dreams or to make your wishes come true in a way of digital assets. It's muting me automatically, Martina.
Yes, I'm with you. Okay. I'm checking behind the scene.
Okay. So I don't know what you heard up to now, but let us continue. So okay. So on today's agenda, we're going to talk about avatar types. Each type has a different usage and different facts and fictions. So fiction, some people have ideas about how to use avatars and what are the purposes. So we're going to try to clear that out. We're going to explain and show how we can optimize your usage with avatars and how you're going to deal with this data in a best practices way. So let's see a table. So this is a table that simplify the way we can look at those avatars into 3 different sections: fit, marketing, and adoption decision. So as you can see, our Optitex parametric avatars basically fill in most of these needs. the Alvanon or the alternative type of avatars just very well do with fit, but the other needs are sometimes not enough. Scanned avatars, which Johnny will explain more about on his end, are very well used for most and all of these needs. And of course, the modeled avatars, which are DAZ and Maya and 3D, which I'll explain more in the presentation, doesn't have the fit capabilities, and I will explain on that more. So what are the benefits here of the Optitex parametric avatars? So basically they're free. So once you purchase PDS, you can use them as long as you like. We have a big family of avatars that can be manipulated, and they can be changed size, and they have parametric capabilities which enable the user to achieve different sizes, different body shapes. We have about 8 animated poses, which I'll explain more later, but we have about 8 animated poses. Most of them used for verification of garment design and fit analysis, and also they can be used for. Sorry? Okay. So they Martina, is everything fine? Okay. So they're used for fit analysis and design confirmation. All of our avatars has RIC, which is the ability to facilitate animation with the avatar, which helps us in many ways, which I'll explain on later. All of them works with our cross-site simulation feature, which is a great feature that enable basically use one design cross multiple sizes on one avatar. And of course, they render really nice for many usages. There are things that you need to consider. Those avatars, although they have parametric capabilities, those capabilities have some restrictions. When they were built, they have minimum and maximum size that they're working through, so you can't go over these sizes. Also, the creation of those avatars is very complex. So if you wish to create one to yourself, it can be done through our 3D Studio services, but you have to understand that this is a very complex procedure. And of course, the poses were predefined, so adding or changing those on a ready-made avatar is very difficult, but you can again use the 3D Studio services to do that. Now we're going to see a short demo using the Optitex avatars. So here you can see the avatar editor. This is our tool to engage all the parametric capabilities and go through the predefined poses. Here I'm changing the avatar size and the circumference. We can turn on and off some of the visual features of the avatar, and we can change them more later inside PDS. We can see all the measurements. We can save those measurements as a size set, which is basically what works with the cross-site simulation. So here I'm simulating on the huge EVA that I created, and then I switch into a small one, small size, animate into pose. Looks really nice. I can turn on and off some of those visual features, and let's render it out. This is a photorealistic engine that we hold based on a GPU power. Now we can put her on a catwalk and play around with all the environment and lights in the scene. So this was Optitex avatars. Now I'm going to switch into fit avatar. So as I mentioned before, fit avatars are made basically for fit. Traditionally, they were used for in the textile industry for many years before the digital asset became available. and Alvanon, which was, I guess, the first one who changed that and made their avatars digital and physical, helped their customers to basically move from digital to physical when they tested those assets. Those avatars have an exact size combination, so when you order this avatar, you know what you're going to get. They run really smooth and nice inside our engine. They have a very smooth shape, so no issues with collisions and stuff like that. They mainly use for verification and again, design confirmation and fit analysis, so they work really nice. And as I mentioned before, they have a physical double, meaning once you complete your design, you can go and test it on a physical avatar. Again, things that you have to consider when you deal with these type of avatars is that they have no union shape. So they're very blocky. They have a very rigid type of shape, and they have no muscle tone. So they're really smooth and round. Some of them cost really high. So again, it's something that needs to be considered when you purchase one of these. Again, some of the companies won't allow you to cross-share the avatar with your vendors, so every vendor needs to pay for extra avatar. Some companies doesn't have animation at all, so you get a static model, basically a file that is just in some type of an A pose that you need to deal with the piece positioning or the garment positioning manually, which is it takes time and it's a long procedure. Again, cross-size simulation or automation capability doesn't work with this type of avatar because they have only one size, so we can't really use that. And the render is okay, so you get this type of skin shaded avatar, which is like a mannequin store avatar. So let's see a demo how we use that avatar using the Alvanon avatar. So you have to log into Alvanon and register and download an AVAO file. It's a file that Alvanon already prepared for the customer, so all the setups made pre-handed. Now we load it into PDS, AVAO. It's a file protected avatar. And again, it has only one pose right now, so you can just switch from this T pose into the A pose. Once it's done, we can render it out into a nice visual. Let's see. Look nice. Switch on the rendering. Okay. Okay. So let's continue. Our next slide is the modeled avatar. So this is a really nice and interesting subject. In the recent years, this whole concept of getting avatars online became quite realistic. There are many ways to do it. You can either model it yourself or go through a platform like DAZ or Illusion, use Maya or 3D Max to actually model them. There are a couple of 3D websites that allows you to purchase these avatars online. As I said, they become very affordable. Long time ago, it was a matter of quite a big amount of money that you had to invest in that. Nowadays, it become very affordable. People can do it for something like 20 bucks, and you're gonna see it when I keep on with the demo. They have a very brilliant, nice visuals. They human-like. Again, they look like hyper realistic. They're not really realistic, but they look hyper realistic, which is quite nice when you try to show something online. Some of them can be easily animated. So DAZ software, which I'll show on with the demo, is enable you to do it yourself with zero capabilities in 3D, so you don't have to be an animator or something like that. And of course, if you need to add on accessories and stuff like that to make the visual more rich, you can do it quite easily. Again, thing that you need to consider when you do that, it doesn't really used for fit because those avatars are modeled, so the measurements are not something that you can rely on, but it's just that you can consider using a fit avatar for fitting and then a catwalk avatar when you go to a show. So this is the big difference. They're not parametric, so when you buy them online, they usually have only one size. But again, with Optitex 3D Studio services, you can do it. So we can basically take several of those avatars and merge them into one avatar that contain multi-size capability. And then again, cross size or the automation feature doesn't work unless you use our 3D Studio services to enable that. When you go into, not into DAS, but into Maya and 3D Max, you need to have a 3D specialist or someone with 3D capabilities to deal with that. I guess you have to have at least 3 years of experience to start understanding what you're doing. This is quite a complex procedure. So let's see a short demo that we use DAS. Again, you can download DAS for free. Here I'm using one of the Genesis, which is the free avatar that comes with DAS. I'm adding some assets like hair and some wardrobe. I'm changing the pose with the predefined poses that already are there with the application, and we're ready. So she's animated. Of course, this video is like speed up, but again, it's something that everyone can do. You can just download it, play around with it, 5 minutes, and you're there. So again, I'm using the avatar editor to load the avatar and set it up to work inside PDS. Let's see. The hair look transparent, which is fine. We're going to see how it looks nice when we turn on the rendering mode. Let's her animate into pose and turn on the rendering. Boom. So hair looks fine. Let's play around with the lighting, maybe set up a background. And we're good. So she's already on the catwalk, ready to go. And this is a high resolution image that came out of the rendering procedure. Okay. So something that we need to talk about before I'm switching into the scanned avatar, poses. So poses is a big issue, and it's something that, again, you need to consider when you're dealing with avatars. Of course, as mentioned before, avatars that comes from like static avatars, it doesn't contain animation capabilities. We will not allow you to do it unless either you're using our Optitex 3D Studio services, or you deal with a 3D artist that will do it for you. When we talk about the Optitex parametric avatars, we did almost 2 years research and development of about 6 fit poses that were tested through the industry. So we asked people around what are the repeating poses that they're using for fit and for stretch and for to reveal places that has issues with lengths and stuff like that. And we came up with 8 poses that basically cover these most of the cases. So these are fit poses. Those fit poses, again, based on the industry standard, and they test moving and problematic location in the avatar. And you can adjust your pattern to it and see how it fits and look better once the length or the stretch get fitted. Marketing poses, we've created some of those, of course, to enable the usage in our avatars. But again, when you deal with marketing poses, you need to try to get something as much as dynamic as you can to get the most of the fabric simulation out of the pose. So you need to try to get something with some sensual and dynamic in the pose that you create. So now I'm going to switch into the scanned avatar. So Johnny, who joined us today, will keep on explaining about his part, and the bureau gave us a really nice avatar that I'm going to show later on what I did with. So a few words about the ways of getting a scanned avatar. So there are four, in a very general way, there are four ways to capture a body shape. There is the photogrammetry, which is a room size type of capture device. The person needs to stand in the center of this room. Some of the capturing devices has capabilities of not only capture one snapshot, but a motion. So it's called a 4D capture. And you can basically capture multiple poses. So if you're trying to scan someone in a unique pose, like cycling, this is something that we've tested. So you can do it through this type of solution. There are the turntable devices like Fit3D, if you heard of. This is one of their devices. Basically, the user is standing in the center of this panel, and it's turned around for about 30 seconds or so while capturing the body. It doesn't capture the visual part, the texture, while photogrammetry actually capture the textures as well. There are the handheld scanners. Again, they're portable, but, and I'm saying but because we're dealing with humans, and I've dealt with that many times. When you capture someone in a still position, he's never still. So when you capture with a handheld scanner, which takes about 3 or 4 minutes to scan a full body, you get a lot of motion inside the body of the scannee, or the person who's being scanned, and you get some offsets. So you need to consider that when you're going to capture someone. And the latest technology, or something of the newest technology that is available, most of the cell phones today can capture, take photos. And there are few companies who took that availability of photos and made photo scan type of solutions. So it's very interesting. We've been testing with those for many times. Again, the benefits of scans, they become very affordable. Okay, when I say that, I mean that in the last, let's say, 4 or 5 years, the prices of the mechanism themselves and the capturing sessions became very affordable for people. I'm saying it started from tens of thousands of dollars for a session, and the equipment itself was about $1 million, and we now talk about a few thousands of dollars for the equipment, and of course the sessions are a few $100 for capture. You generally get a very high accurate model. Again, it depends on the technology, as I mentioned before. If you're using the photogrammetry tools, you're going to get a very nice and accurate avatar. People can be captured very quickly. So in the, again, photogrammetry room size, it takes like a few milliseconds to capture. And when you switch into other, the time become a bit of an issue. But again, you get a really nice and quick capture. The use for fit, for marketing, for adoption decisions. So basically, if you go that way, you basically cover all of your needs. So you can use one avatar if he's a very visually nice person like we have here. You can use them not only for fit, but also for marketing uses. So you can use online website to upload those results from Optitex. So it's really nice, and they cover quite nicely the needs. The rendering is really nice, so you get again, because we captured a real person and the texture are real, so you get something that looks human and not like the other options that you get something that is either hyper realistic or all the way around to the fit avatar, which has no human-like shape. And again, they can be used for online usage. Again, things that you need to consider when you go that way. When you capture someone, you capture him and nothing else, so you get only one size. But as I mentioned before, our 3D Studio, Optitex 3D Studio services basically enable you to use multiple scans. So I can basically take multiple scanned people and merge them into one parametric type of avatar. Again, the texture will not work as well as they work on one avatar, but you're going to have a really nice parametric capability to switch between sizes in one avatar. Cross simulation, from the same reason, doesn't work unless you merge multiple sizes into one avatar. Something that you need to understand when you scan human, you need to understand that he's not symmetrical. Whatever you're going to try and do, people are standing and they're moving and they never symmetrical. But we have a way to capture a symmetrical output out of a human without deforming the shape and the volume of the person. So it can be done through our 3D Studio services, and you're going to get yourself a symmetrical avatar. And it's really nice when you try to do the starting of the creation of the garment, but then you can switch into a regular avatar to test with feet and to test with poses. And one of the most basic procedure that you have to do, you have to deal with a very heavy post-processing when you deal with avatar, and I'm going to show it in a second through our demo. It takes a really, you have to have a really strong computer to manage with this data. And then you have, again, you have to have a 3D artist or 3D expertise to do it. We can do it for you, again, as part of our service if needed. We're gonna see a demo that we got a scanee from the bureau that they kindly gave us, and let's see how we work with that. So here we can see these are full resolution scans. They're highly dense. They're very noisy. So you can see there are a lot of noise and like spikes. And the arms are merged with the body. So this is something that you can't really use. But then with our 3D Studio services, we can basically clean the avatar, make it animated. As you can see, there is something that moves it around inside. Now we can see that everything works well inside our avatar editor. And let's see, let's choose something, drape, boom, animate into pose. Let's switch into a different pose. As you can see, it didn't start from the beginning because we have a common pose, which is something that also we're dealing with. And now let's switch into a very complicated pose. So when the person was scanned, the arms and feet were merged. So they were like a statue. They were one piece. And here we can see how the trousers are being pulled down by the stretching of the body. Okay, let's put him somewhere nice on a bench. Yeah, play around with the lighting. Very well. Okay. Okay, so that was my part. Let me switch to Joni. 1 second.
Please,
yeah,
drive to me, please. Yeah,
yeah, of course, of course.
Oh,
Johnny, can you hear us? Yeah.
I can. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, perfect.
Great. Thanks, Drew, and thank you to Optitex for inviting me as a panelist today. Before I start, we're going to show a short video about what we do at the Bureau and the kind of services we offer before moving on to how we see avatars playing a vital role in the future with our industry.
Sorry, I just
That's okay. These are some of the tools that we offer at the Bureau. I'll go into a bit more detail in a minute after the video show. Cool, thank you for sharing that. So just to give you all a bit of a background about the Bureau, we started as a fitting agency about 10 years ago, providing fitting models to fashion brands. For those that are unsure about exactly what a fit model is, it's essentially like being a mobile mannequin. So garments are tried on the model, and it's their job to provide feedback on the fit and feel. They often have an integral part of the garment creation process. And over the years, we moved into supplying photographic models, especially when online shopping became more popular. It made sense for these models that fit the clothes well to showcase them online. But in summary, we found that the whole industry from an agency perspective was severely underserved. Most other agencies cared more about Instagram followers, but we wanted to approach things from a different perspective and realize the importance of fit, particularly with so many clothes being returned online and the cost this has to fashion brands. So slide 1, which is up at the moment, shows how we portray our models online and the amount of measurements we take from the model at our agency. You can see it's quite a few. This slide will have a bit more relevance when we touch on 3D scanning shortly. So the next slide, thanks Martina, shows some of the tools we have implemented to make the whole model selection process easier for our clients. We introduced a 360 view of our models, so garment technicians and designers can check posture, shape and shoulder angle, as it isn't always just about having the correct measurements that makes the ideal person to fit and design on. We also invested in a 3D foot scanner that you can see in the middle there, and we showed it on the video briefly, to scan our model's feet in order to establish their foot size. It also highlights things like a model's instep height relative to population and other cool things like that. I think perhaps we're a little early with this. We introduced it in 2017, and our clients were more used to seeing measurements taken manually. But it was a really important exercise for us to see how 3D scans would be adopted. And over the past few years, we've certainly seen a shift in people's acceptance of 3D scanning as a whole. And lastly, without wanting to go on for too long about the agency, we've introduced similar tools into the photographic and e-commerce side of the business. You saw on a video we showed things like augmented reality model cards. All of these are designed to give our agency a competitive edge. So hopefully this has demonstrated that as an agency, we're always looking to innovate and push the boundaries, which brings me nicely on to the next slide and our exciting new project with Optitex. So as Drew gave more detail beforehand about, a detailed model scan is taken, which is, well, to give you a background of what the project is, sorry, we're currently in the process of 3D scanning all of our models so they can be used as avatars within Optitex, as Drew demonstrated before. A detailed scan of the model was taken, which is cleaned up both before and within Optitex, and then garments are overlaid in pattern form where they can be used for virtual fitting and designing. Again, which was highlighted before, these scans can be used for things like virtual buys, online sales, and so on. And if we move on to the next slide, this is all about why 3D scanning and why 3D avatars. Drew has gone into detail about the technical side, but I'd like to expand on the commercial side. Firstly, why is a 3D scan better than measuring manually? Well, for us, it's about accuracy and consistency. We've been in situations where a garment technician from one company measures the chest, for example, at one point, and another garment technician from a different brand measures somewhere else. It's not the garment tech's fault, it's just how they've been trained and everybody does things differently. And this can be the difference between a whole size and can have a real knock-on effect when it comes to grading, especially when you've seen from the first slide how many measurements are taken on a model. Therefore, we believe that going forward, 3D scans will provide a lot more sizing consistency, not only within one specific brand, but also across all brands. And then why use 3D avatars? Well, most things come down to cost, but when savings can be made and you can also have a positive effect on the environment, everyone's a winner. This is why we think 3D avatars are going to play a big part in the future of fashion. Using 3D avatars will mean that there is less need for physical samples. I've experienced it myself in a fit-in when the garment is on its 5th or 6th prototype. And this garment has been sent back and forward to, say, China, Turkey, wherever that factory is. And that has a huge impact on a brand's carbon footprint. Fitting, designing, and potentially selling on a 3D avatar alleviates a lot of these issues. There's also the added benefit of being able to design and fit remotely. Everyone has been affected by COVID, and being able to have that flexibility to design and fit virtually is a real bonus. Lastly, I'd like to touch on why we as an agency think that using one of our 3D avatars is advantageous, but sometimes more advantageous than using a 3D form or a mannequin. The feedback that we've received is that forms are not always a good representation of a human body. They're an amalgamation of thousands of scans, but don't always provide a realistic shape and lack the nuances of a real body. The 3D body scan provides a real representation of the garments, of what the garments are likely to look and fit like on the end consumer. So what are these advantages? Well, firstly, brands will have access to a multitude of different virtual models. Typically, a brand will fit and design on one fitting model. Allowances are taken into account, but often the garments are tailor-made to that individual that is the best representation of the brand's target market. The problem with fitting physically is that it's not viable to have a number of different models present at the same time. However, virtually it is. A brand can check what a size 12 looks like on, say, Emily, Chloe, Amanda, and so on. All of these females would buy a size 12, but they're all different shapes. So being able to fit virtually in all of these models will help highlight areas of fit and design that needs addressing more readily. The next advantage is that a model's face will be visible and lifelike. We're working extremely hard to ensure all of our scans are as lifelike as possible, so it really feels like you will be fitting and designing on the actual model. I mentioned it before, but another plus is that brands will have the ability to perform the final fitting or pre-production fit on the actual model in person after the virtual design and fitting is complete. And also model availability is also always an issue too. Brands will not be competing as much with the same model as they'll be available virtually 24/7. And lastly, I forgot to add this to the slide, but as Dror mentioned as well, the actual scans themselves can be used for internal buys and hopefully for things like pre-orders online where brands can see how popular an item might be without the need for having to produce it. Again, saving on cost and the environment. Well, thank you for listening to me, and I hope it's provided a bit of an insight to why we think avatars will play a big role in our agency and the industry as a whole. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much, Johnny. I'm just going to try and turn my webcam back on over here. People can see me, that it says. Can you guys see me?
Yep.
Yes, we can.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just trying to adjust it so that I can see the others. Okay. So thank you very much, guys. I'm going to move over to some of the questions that we had. So excuse me if I just move this over here. So we have quite a few questions that are very specific to some particular use cases, as well as some geographic type questions. So I'm not going to go into those. We'll answer those offline, but there are some really good questions over here that I've received. I know, Dror, you received a few as well. So how about I start off with the ones I have, and then I'll hand over to you, Dror. And so I'm going to ask these questions to the panel, and Dror, Johnny, I'll let you decide on how to answer. So we had one question, which was, can you upload the avatars to a website so your customers can see clothes on the avatar? I can answer that. That's a yes. You certainly can.
Maybe one thing to notice, when you deal with Alvanon avatars or protected avatars, you need to check with the company they allow you to use that online. So it's something that needs to be considered when you're dealing with protected avatars. Not always you are being allowed to use it online.
Yeah, well, that's a good point. Well, it wasn't technologically speaking, it is possible, but in terms of IP, intellectual property, that's a whole different matter that that you would have to address with your supplier. So, so Dror, Johnny, how about answering the question about measuring drape on the avatar? There's a question of whether a sensor is required to do that.
Sorry, I'm going to put my camera back on. So can you repeat the question, please?
Sure. How do you measure drape on an avatar?
So there are many ways to do that. Basically, we can do it inside the avatar editor. There are tools there to apply measurements like circumference or measure tape. So again, this is the basic technical experience inside the Optitex tools. So that's it. Okay. Yeah.
And so there's a question over here about using the information from a fit avatar in the marketing onto the marketing avatar. I think the question is configuring a marketing avatar and customizing it. So Dror, I think that one's right up your alley.
Okay, so when you use a fit avatar, let's say Alvanon, which is the most common one, and I've heard these questions before from customers of ours. So the best way to deal with that is first, of course, finish with the fit, make sure everything looks good and nice and works with your workflow and with your manufacturing part of this session, and then you need to choose, as you are going to do a catwalk show, choose a really nice avatar that looks nice and works well with your needs. And then you'll have to create a different fitted asset to fit this avatar. Again, because it's a whole different type of body shape and general look. So if you use an Alvanon avatar, it works very well until you finish with the fitting. But then when you want to actually use it for a visual aspect, it doesn't really work. And then there is the company like the bureau that comes in right there in the center and give you the full aspect. So you can go scan your fit avatar and use it through the whole process.
Yeah.
And also, I think it becomes a bit more personable with the mannequins and so on. You don't know that person; they're not a personality and so on. So hopefully, some of the brands might have that existing relationship with the model that they can see them virtually, and then they've got the potential to fit on them, but also use them for marketing purposes as well. So we're kind of bridging that gap between the mannequin and the actual 3D avatar itself.
Okay. So, Dror, the rest of the questions that I have here are very specific. So how about I hand over to the questions that you've received?
Okay, thank you. So I have some technical questions here. Can I create my own pose? Can I better control the end position? So again, as I mentioned before, part of the services that we provide here at Optitex is enable you, the customer, to basically change or manipulate the avatar. If it's our parametric avatar that has the option to do it inside the application, but then if you need to do something beyond that, we can do it for you. Or if you need to take a scanned avatar and keep on doing some changes to it, we can do it for you. This is a nice and interesting question. So what is the discrepancy tolerance between the scanned avatar and the finished avatar? So the result that we actually provide. So it's approximately 0.2 centimeter, something like 2 millimeters. It's the difference between the scan and the result. Again, because we have to post-process it and clean the model that comes out of the scanning, you do lose some minor volume, but it's very, very minor. We've been testing that, and we've seen that this like a minimum, such a minimum loss is nothing, because again, you need to understand that this is like a real person. And of course, if somebody needs to create a symmetrical avatar out of it, which is possible as well, you lose maybe like a ½ millimeter more because of the operation of creating a symmetrical avatar. Again, it doesn't deform the avatar, it just makes him symmetrical. So left and right look the same, but keep on the volume of the body. Let's see what we have here. Can I remove the head, hand, feet? Okay, so this is a question from people that used to work with physical Alvanon type avatars. Again, it can be done with our 3D Studio services, and we can do it for anything. So if you send us a scanned avatar, we can, and you wish to replace the facial features to make him a non-facial type of avatar, so it can be done. We can take out the hands or make it like a figurine that you can take out and place back the parts. Can I change the appearance of my Optitex avatar? So again, this is something that I've seen some of the companies or people that were enthusiastic enough found it out. It's quite easy. So basically, with the Optitex, with the PDS application, you get the family of avatars, and with these avatars, you get the textures on the side. So you can take those textures, put them inside Photoshop, play around, adding tattoos, changing skin tone, changing the hair color, whatever you like, and then you just need to drag and drop this texture back on the avatar, and it's done. You're ready. So it's quite easy, and it's a very playful type of procedure. Let's see what else. Okay. So this is an interesting question. Do you handle soft bodies? I work with compression garments. So currently, our avatars are basically rigid, or they're just shape of an avatar, but we do look into that type of solution. Soft body is a very complex procedure, so you have to basically calculate the pressure of the fabric on the body and the other way around. But we do look into that. We have some interesting solutions. So hopefully in the future we're going to expose that to our customers. What are the skill sets that a user need to require to work with the avatars? Okay, so this is it depends. I think it was, I don't know if it was clear enough, but I think when you deal with Optitex avatar, of course, you have to understand in fitting and understanding body, but you don't have to be like someone who has expertise with human body knowledge. You just need to play around with the sliders and get the right fit of the avatar you need. When you deal with those avatars, again, it's so simple. I really try to, I hope everyone here on the call, when we switch off, go download DAS. I'm not a representative of DAS, but go do it. It's really fun. And you'll see how easy it is. And it gives such a colorful results inside the PDS Optitex. So it's really nice and easy, and you don't have to be a 3D artist with 20 years of experience. It doesn't have to be like that. You can do it now by yourself. So it's fine. I'm not going to lose my work, but you can do it yourself, and you're gonna enjoy every minute of it. So go do it.
Thank you, Dror. Thank you.
Yeah.
And thank you, Johnny, very much. We are pretty much out of time. I do want to take this last moment to thank everybody again for joining us, and thank you to our panelists. I'm going to put back up, oh, here it is, the slide. We do have the other seminars coming up. A lot of really good content coming up. 3D and First Insight. First Insight is a company that works with customer feedback Very really interesting stuff of how you can use 3D to get feedback before you've placed an order for the company. Beyond XR coming after that, digital showrooms and range reviews, collaboration, as well as others. So if we did not manage to get to your question, my apologies, but we will get back to you offline and do our best to respond. So thank you once again, everybody. Stay safe and healthy, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.